So once again, thank you so much for taking the time to join the Zoom today, and I'm particularly grateful to Go An Dang and Go Hoài Mi and Go Lin Lei and the English translation group for coming up with the idea of sort of combining our sharing resources so that we can make our basically our courses and our knowledge available to as many people as possible. So I get to use Go An Dang's Zoom today. Okay, so it is an honor and a privilege. And so we're gonna jump right in, and let me see if I am expecting one friend. Let's see if he can join us. Okay, let's send him a real quick text message. Well, while we're waiting for some friends to join us, would anybody care to do any sharing? Okay, this is your chance to create value for all the people in the Zoom here by sharing what you've learned last week, or even anything along the line of your knowledge. Oh, hello, Jim. Thanks for joining us. Okay, very grateful for your participation today. So yeah, before we jump into today's material, does anybody would like to share anything that they have learned in the last week material, or anything that you've learned, in your journey of expanding your own personal, your self-awareness, your journey toward greater maturity as a person? Okay. Would anybody care to share before we jump into the material today? No? Last week we talked about wisdom level 3 and awareness level 3. Does anybody remember what that is, or if anybody have any impression regarding that topic? Let me turn on my chat so I can see what people are typing. Okay. Thank you, Miss Chu Thị Lý. Thank you, Miss Nguyễn Thị Yên, for joining us as well. Very grateful and honored by all of your presence today. Hello. Okay. Okay. Thank you, chị Tâm Phúc. Let me share my screen. I want to thank those of you who are new, as well as those who are repeating student to the course. Let me see. Oh, okay. Let me see if I can get that screen in the middle. So for the sake of those who are fairly new to the course, just a really quick review, or sort of setting the context for what we're doing. Okay, what we're doing here is essentially walking with each other along a journey, a path with a roadmap. This roadmap seeks to expand our awareness. Okay, expand our awareness about what? Okay, expand awareness about ourselves, about other people. Essentially, expanding our awareness about what it means to be human beings. Okay, expand awareness about what it means to be human being. Okay, human beings, we are human beings. Other people are human beings. Okay? What for? Right? What for? So that we can create a life that is healthy, okay? Maybe even wealthy for some people, okay? And ultimately, some kind of peace. Okay, so that is the sort of activity that we do each time we get into the Zoom every Wednesday in Vietnam and Thursday in the United States, West Coast. Okay, we are expanding our awareness about human beings, about what it means to be humans, about life in general, about ourselves and about other people, so that the fruit of this journey would be a life that is healthy and wealthy and peace. Okay. Alrighty. Thank you, Miss Olivia Tami, for setting and you suggesting that we combine resources and make this knowledge available to as many people as possible. Okay, I'm very grateful for your leadership, and I'm honored by your presence in the Zoom today. Okay, thank
Thank
you,
you
G.
so much, and Frank. Yes, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ko An, Ko Hình Lê, and everyone. Good morning, Quỳnh Anh.
Good morning các thầy cô ạ.
Okay, so that's the context. Okay, that's the context of what we're doing. Up to now in this series, this season that I have started a few months ago, we have spent a number of weeks basically raising our own awareness about ourselves, and of and we have been raising awareness about certain principles and natural laws that govern our life as a human being. Right? Let me just check my note real quick. I'll make sure I get it right. Okay, there are natural laws and universal principles that governs our life, and if we understand those natural laws and universal principles, we would be able to make the best of it and create the kind of life that we desire for ourselves. Okay. Um, let me see. Okay. There is a universal law that says that for every cause there will be a corresponding effect or outcome. Okay, for every cause there is a corresponding outcome. Another way of saying that is that for every seed that we plant, the outcome will be a fruit of that same seed. Very simple, right? If we plant a seed of mango, we're going to get a fruit that is mango. If we plant a guava seed, can we expect a fruit that is mango? No, you cannot. Okay, so it's a simple law, okay, that governs all of our life. This law governs our worldly matters, the things of this world, the physical matters of the world. It governs our cosmological perspective, the spiritual world, and it also governs our human life and experience. Okay, but it is not as simple as planting the seed and getting the fruit right away. If you have a good seed, let's say we have a good seed, but if we throw the seed out into the street, cars will run over it. It will get smashed and it will never grow into a fruit. If we have a good seed and we plant it into shallow soil, it may grow up into a tiny little plant and it will wither and die and it would not bear fruit. What we have been doing in the past 8 or 9 weeks is we have been discussing what it means to have a good seed. Okay, what it means to have good seed. The good seed, when it comes to human life and experience, okay, the good seed, when it comes to our own self, is the seed of wisdom. Okay, the seed of wisdom. If we have different levels of wisdom, we already talked about wisdom level 1, wisdom level 2, wisdom level 3, each of the levels of wisdom corresponding to a degree of awareness. That is why earlier we said we are on a journey to expand our awareness. Okay? When we expand our awareness, we also elevate our wisdom. And when we have wisdom, we are it is make it more simple for us to create the kind of life outcome that we want. Okay? At the same time, if the seed of wisdom is within us, but there is something else in between. Just as a seed, we throw it into the street, it will get run over by cars, or if you plant it in shallow soil, it will not bear fruit. So there is something in between. Okay, something in between the cause and the outcome that determine if the seed will actually grow up and bear fruit. So it is the condition. Okay, so from a worldly perspective, the condition upon we plant those seed is the fertility of the soil, the nurturing process, the cultivation process, the water, the rain, the sun. Okay, that is the worldly perspective. When you plant the seed in the right condition, okay, then we are going to be more likely get the good outcome that we want. So if we want, let's say this is good seed or good cause, then we're going to need favorable condition. Okay, favorable condition, and that will give us the desirable outcome. Desirable outcome in life. Okay. With the seed of wisdom, the seed of wisdom also give rise to a type of condition that would help us more simply bear the kind of fruit of life that we want. It is the mentality, okay? Because with wisdom and awareness, we already went through level 1, 2, 3, wisdom and awareness. We know right and wrong, good or bad, should or should not. We know how to choose the good instead of the bad. We know how to apply the principle of light. We know how to bring light into the room instead of removing darkness from the room. Okay? We understand the different types of mentality. The mentality of honoring gratitude. The mentality of magnanimity and tolerance. We understand the mentality of serenity and inner peace. Those are, on an energetic level, they are the condition that will help our wisdom grow and bear fruit. And as our wisdom and our mentality start to bear fruit, people will start to recognize, okay, this is the materialization. So this is a triangle of reality that I have just drawn for you. Okay, with the reality triangle, the first corner is the material corner. All things in reality have a material expression. That material expression came about as a certain energetic or energy component. And those energy component has the specific vibration as a consequence of the information that is inside them. Okay, this is really quick review for those of you who understand, already studied the material, and for those of you who are new. Anybody here new? Anybody new that needs an explanation? Maybe Jim, but if you have any questions, Jim, you feel free to type in the chat or just raise your voice, okay? Basically, the idea is that every object, every experience in the world has a material manifestation that we can experience, that we can feel, that we can touch. Lead and gold has a certain material expression. They are different from one another. One is lead is dull, gold is shiny. When scientists study lead and gold, they determine that lead and gold has a certain specific energy vibration that give it specific expression of dullness or shininess. And then when they study deeper and deeper into lead and gold, they find that the basic makeup, the basic structure of lead and gold are different. For example, lead had a certain number of electrons orbiting certain number of protons, which is very distinct from gold that has a different set of electrons and protons. Those are simply called information. We apply that same reality triangle to things like inner peace, happiness, success, good health. A person of happiness will have a certain material expression that we can sense, we can see. That means they carry within them a certain type of energy. And that energy arises out of a certain information within that person that is distinct from a person that is, let's say, unhappy. The unhappy person materializes unhappiness, and you can sense it, you can feel it, you know it. That is because they have a certain information, the basic structure, the basic source concept within them that make them unhappy. Okay? So, same thing with everything else. Okay? Here, wisdom can be thought of as the basic foundation of a person's outcome in life. With different levels of wisdom, we already talked about a person of wisdom being able to rotate among different levels of wisdom, different degrees of awareness, to be or not to be, knowing when to be and when not to be something, okay, or someone. And the person of wisdom have those information with them, the source concept. They know how to rotate among different ways of being, different awareness level. That gives rise to a wider range of mentality. They have wisdom. They know how to pick the positive mentality. They know how to choose the positive attitude. And as a consequence, a person of wisdom who carry a positive mentality will be recognized by other people, seen by other people, felt by other people, okay, or become aware by other people as a person of character. Okay? Character. Character is the material expression of a person of wisdom. A positive character is a material of a person who's rich in wisdom, who's rich in mentality. Okay, do you get that so far? Which is different from the character of a person who has no wisdom and who have bad attitude. Okay, so that is a reality. That is a reality triangle of a human being. Okay, and when it comes to a person of character, okay, in this philosophy, you can reflect for yourself. Do you notice that when you look at a person or when you meet a person whom you consider a person of good character or refined character or a wholesome character, would you like to be close to that person? Would you like to have a relationship with a person of refined character? Would you like to have a relationship with a person of wholesome character? When you look at a person who is very successful, okay, when we look at a person who is very successful, not only that they have a lot of money, but a person that we truly consider successful. If all they have money, but their marriage is broken, or if their health is failing, then we say, no, maybe that's not really success. that all they have is a lot of money. But if we look at a person who has a lot of material wealth, and their family is harmonious, and their health is in perfect condition, and their inner being, the mentality, the attitude, the wisdom, the awareness is also rich, then we can say, oh, that person is a successful person. oh, that person is a person of good character. And that person is somebody that I would probably like to get close to. Right? So we can kind of apply that formula or that definition of a person of good character or a person of refined character to our spouse, our children. Would you like your children to grow up to have the kind of character that other people would want to be close to? Would you like your children to be successful people? Not only in material possession, but in terms of relationship. Successful in terms of their health. Successful in terms of their mental well-being, the wisdom, the attitude. Right? So, and so in the past, 2 months or so, we've been spending a lot of time working on coming to a better understanding and awareness about what it means to have a good seed within us. Like the seed of wisdom, the seed of mentality. Last few weeks, we basically completed a module on mentality. Out of the, 84,000 bubbles of illusion, representing 84,000 emotions that a human being can have, why not focus on the three ultra high energy of honor and gratitude, of magnanimity and tolerance, of serenity and inner peace. Okay? We have already completed that aspect of our internal self, our inner being. Here, we're going to begin focusing on this in-between stuff. Okay? What would make our inner seed be able to flourish and then eventually bear fruit? Okay? So whereas the inner seed within us is wisdom and awareness, the condition that those seed is planted in is known as, I'm going to write the word affinity. Okay, the word affinity. It means attraction. If something has an affinity for something, it has an attraction to that thing. If something has a negative affinity, it repels. It's repulsive. Okay? So the condition upon which we plant our seed of wisdom and mentality is our affinity or our attraction or our relationship and connection with other people. Okay? A person of wisdom and good mentality who has nobody around them cannot become successful. You notice that every successful person in this world has people around them. They are able to build and maintain a network of good affinity, of good relationship and connection with many, many people. Nobody can be successful by themselves. All right? If you want to, you can go into a cave or a desert island and meditate and just be by yourself. That's fine. But you cannot create any value and your life doesn't really improve in any material way. It is only through the favorable condition, which is the affinity with other people, that our life would actually materialize and bear fruit. Okay, in a concrete and physical way. So in this module, as we move on to the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about different ways that we will be able to improve our affinity with other people. Okay? And as a review for some of you who have been studying this material, so there is a formula, just review for you guys, the formula for causality. With the formula for causality, okay, we have, this is I'm going to call it the formula for managing the causality of human life. Okay, so we all agree that causality is one of the natural laws that governs our life, and we cannot escape it. Okay, cause and effect, cause and outcome, cause and consequences. And in this context, in this philosophy, the formula for the managing of causality of human life looks like this: good cause. Okay, plus favorable condition, okay, equal desired outcome. Good cause plus favorable condition equal desired outcome. Or if we want to visualize it, want to give it a visual sense, we're talking about a good seed. Okay, we plant the good seed. The favorable condition is the, I just want to write the positive affinity with people. Positive affinity. The desired outcome is life quality, for example. Okay, life outcome, life quality. Those are the kind of things we want, right? What kind of quality of life do we want? We need a good seed. We need a good seed. We need positive affinity with other people, which is a favorable condition upon those seeds are planted. And then we're going to get the desirable outcome of life, which is the kind of quality of life that we want. Okay, now if we break down each of these components, they have their own pieces and component. With the good seed, or the good seed, so there are two components. If we want to stimulate the seed, we need to expand awareness. Guess what we've been doing this past 8 weeks? We've been expanding our awareness. We've been elevating our wisdom. That is how we stimulate the good seed within us. Okay. Once we have a good seed, how do we maintain it? Prevent it from going stale and bad. Okay. So how do we maintain the good seed? So in order to maintain it, okay, what we need to do is we need to develop good mentality and attitude. Okay, mentality, that is kind of stuff that goes on inside our head, our thoughts, our emotion, our mentation. Our attitude are the kind of things that other people can see. Okay, so I put both words in there, mentality and attitude. And then that's the first part of the equation, good seed. The middle part, the favorable condition. Okay, the favorable condition. Let's use this one. The favorable condition, okay, also known as positive affinity. Okay, so how do we stimulate? Okay, how do we stimulate the affinity, or the, if you want to visualize, this is how we fertilize the soil. Okay, fertilize the soil. We cultivate, we nurture the condition. Okay, stimulate the condition, okay, or you stimulate the affinity, we do it by via the 7 givings. I'll talk about that later, what that means later. 7 givings. 7 acts of giving, 7 offerings, 7 great charitable acts of life. Okay, we have to do something. And then how do you maintain that positive affinity with other people that we already have? Okay, so maintain. So first is stimulate, and then how to maintain it. Right? When you have a good affinity with somebody, do you want to lose it? Well, you need to refine your character. Okay. Okay. The 7 givings is, some nice thing that we do for a person. When we first meet them or when they first encounter you, we do something nice and they feel very, very good and they like us and we get close to them and they get close to us. But if we don't maintain them with good character, with wholesome character, that relationship, that affinity is going to dissolve over time. And it's gonna be harder for us to reap the kind of fruit of life that we want. Okay? And then finally, just a little sneak peek. We don't talk about it today, but if we have a desirable outcome of life, okay, if we desirable life outcome, okay, another word, good fruit. Okay, we're gonna visualize it. So let's say we bear some good fruit. Okay, how do you stimulate those fruit to to ripen and be ready for the picking? Okay, so how do you stimulate the ripening of the fruit? Stimulate. We will need to upper tail. This is a word that most of you do not know, and I will not go into do that too detail, but it is a combination of 2 words: appreciation and telling. Appreciation and telling, upper tail. If we appreciate something that we have, if we honor and we are grateful for what we have, we tell other people about it. Okay? The more we are grateful for something and the more we share other people the energy of honoring gratitude, then we will more likely multiply what we have. Okay, and keep what we have. Okay, that is called appertelling. We'll go into detail about that later. And if we already have some fruit of life, could be little fruit, could be big fruit, and we want to maintain it. Okay, we will maintain the fruit, keep it nice and fresh, maintain the fruit. Then, as a human being, we need integrity and virtue. Okay? Let's say we have the fruit of financial abundance. Lots and lots of money. But we lack integrity. We lack trustworthiness. We lack we lack accountability. We lack appropriateness. Then those material abundance will tend to go away very quickly. You see that with celebrities. We see that with famous people. They come into the fruit of life very quickly on a material world, in a material way, but without integrity and virtue, they can say bye-bye to that very quickly. You can come into the fruit of life with respect to relationship. Let's say we get married to somebody really wonderful, but we lack integrity. Then even that spouse will run out too. Okay, so we'll talk about what it means to stimulate the fruit of life and how to maintain the fruit in the subsequent sharing. Okay. Yeah, but let's go back. Okay, let's go back. Today we're going to be working on the favorable condition, the affinity, right? Stimulating the affinity so that we can begin to build that favorable condition around us. Okay, a network of people who will help us achieve what we want in life. Okay, what would life be like? Okay, what would life be like if you are lost and you need to find your way? And there is a wise person pointing you the way to go. What would your life be like if we need help and there appear a benefactor who help you along the way? What would life be like if we are in need of inspiration and somebody is around to inspire us, to empower us to move forward? What would our life be like if we have some project, some responsibility, some goal, something that some burden, and there is somebody around there to help us carry the burden, to take up the yoke? What would life be like if we needed some resources and there are people around to connect us with things of value and appropriate resources? What would our life be like if our affinity was positive, our condition was favorable, so that if we need to grow and mature, we need to acquire a new skill, we need to master something, and there exists a master who will guide us, lead us in the direction that we want? Or how about having mentors who will give us the right principles of life and moral principles, and what to do and what not to do? Okay, what would our life be like if we needed some fixing in the house or in a car and they're expert around or specialists around to help us solve the problem in a simple and quick way? And what would our life be like if we have an enlightened friend who can help expand our awareness, elevate our wisdom, and help us rise above life's challenging problems? Kind of cool life, huh? That is the life of a person who is rich in affinity, who whose condition is total fertile for the reaping of whatever fruit they want in life. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, it is the stimulation of the favorable condition. It is the activation of the affinity that we have with other people. Because ultimately, this is a process of expanding our own awareness about ourselves and about other people. Because we're not human being isolated by ourselves. We live in a network of people. Everything that we do or not do affect other people, and vice versa. Their action and responses to us affect us. Okay? So before I jump into it, would anybody share any impression? Any questions so far? What do you guys think? Either type it in the chat or you can, speak up.
So if any brother and sister you have a questions for Thầy Frank, so you can open your microphone and share, or you can just tapping on the chat box. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Jim, what do you think so far? Jim, any impression? I like to call new people because I want to see if my point is getting across. It will be a waste of time if people are listening and they get nothing out of it. What do you think, Jim?
Let's see here. I'm taking this all in, Frank. It's all not that it's new to me, but I to be honest with you, I kind of feel that if one remains in the present moment, that helps with one's affinity to others. that's kind of what I have found. I've kind of discovered uh, with my meditation and some interactions with people uh, that I've had this week that like just encouraging them to stay in the moment and helps them overcome difficulties that they may be going through that might have happened yesterday or they project may be happening in a week, that at this present moment that they were talking to me, they were actually okay. And so, yeah, affinity, I think, is really important. And yeah, so I agree that there's a lot of cause and effect, positive causes, positive uh, will have positive interactions. Ultimately, I believe have positive outcomes. So that's kind of my take so far. Thank you for letting me
Yeah, that's excellent.
participate.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jim. Not only for sharing, but for your presence in the Zoom as well. Every person's sharing always stimulate somebody else's awareness and wisdom. So thank you for that. And yes, you're absolutely right. Being in the presence is one of the ways that you can help another person expand their awareness, improve their life, right then and there. Okay? In this philosophy, we call that level 3 awareness and wisdom. At the beginning of this whole series, back in episode 1 of this season, I think 10 weeks ago, we began with the character of authenticity. And then we start back down at the bottom and we went all the way back up and we talk about the energy of serenity and inner peace. And so that is one of the level of wisdom that we can help another person and we can stimulate our affinity with them. Yeah, to be present with them. Right? Who is the most person? Who is the most important person of my life? It is the person in front of me. What is the most important time of my life? It is this moment. What is the most important thing to do in my life? It is being present with the person in front of me at this moment. And so that is a wonderful gift that we can give to anybody at any time. And that would definitely stimulate our affinity with another person. Okay? So yeah, that is a great start. And then we have different levels of wisdom too. It's not always the case where we just we just be in a peace in a peace all the time. Okay? We went through different levels of wisdom, and a person who is rich in wisdom is a person who is able to rotate among different levels of wisdom and awareness at appropriate time in order to give the best possible response to another person. Yeah. So thank you so much for that, Jim. Okay. So we can move on. Okay. Thank you, chị Nguyễn Mai Trang, for joining our Zoom. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Syria. 3 important questions in life: who, when, what. Yeah, who is the most important person in my life? When is the most important time? And what is the most important thing to do? Okay. Well, with that being said, let's jump into the next part. Okay. I'll tell you a little story. Let's start with a little story. Same story I kind of put briefly in the flyer that I sent out about today's Zoom. It's start like this. In the Bible, a very, very rich man approached Jesus Christ and asked, "Dear teacher, what can I do to go to heaven?" What can I do to go to heaven? And Jesus said, "Give away all your fortune." And the man walked away sad. Okay? He was sad because he could not let go of his attachment to material wealth. Okay? Last week we talked about a person of wisdom is a person who is able to let me see if I have. I know I have it. Okay, here we go. Last week we talked about a person of wisdom is a person who knows when to be and when not to be, when to move forward and when to remain, when to fixate on something and when to let it go, when to accumulate material stuff and when to disperse it all away. A person who is unable to let go, a person who is always being something, like I'm a rich person, for example, I'm a business person, I have a lot of money, who is unable to let go of the to be and just go back to not being anybody, that person is going to experience a lot of suffering in life. Just like in the story, right? A rich man suffers not because he suffered because he is unwilling to let go of his material fortune. At the same time, a person who is fixated on not being anybody, I don't have any money, I don't care, they don't create any value for other people either. And so their life doesn't actually get any better. Okay? Because of the golden rule that says that if you want to the golden rule says that you treat other people as you would have yourself be treated. If you want something for yourself, you have to do the same thing for other people. That is a statement on the law of causality. You plant the seed, you're going to bear the fruit of the same type of seed. Okay? So that's an interpretation of a story in the Bible. A rich man asked Jesus, how can I get to heaven? Jesus said, give away your fortune, and the man was sad because he was not willing to let go of his material possession. Now, a poor farmer works hard all of his life. He works hard, he day in and day out toiling in the sun, and his life never seemed to get better. He remains poor. So one day this poor farmer comes to the Buddha, and he asks the Buddha, Teacher, how can I make my life better? I've been working really hard all my life and I keep on being poor. And the Buddha gave him the answer. Simple. Give away your fortune. and the poor farmer say, wait, if giving away all my fortune is the way to make my life better, how can I make my life better? Because I have nothing to give. I'm a poor farmer. I work all my life and I have nothing, and so how can I give? I have nothing to give. And the Buddha told him, well, you're mistaken. You actually have a great fortune that you don't even know. You have 7 great fortune. 7 great fortune that you can give and give and give and give, and they will never run out. And if you give these 7 fortune away, I guarantee your life will get better. Okay? By the golden rule, if you do to others, whatever you do to others, you will get in return. Okay? There's a popular movement in the United States and in the Western world called the prosperity gospel. Basically, prosperity gospel say that if you give away your fortune to God, God will give fortune to you. But here's the here is the how do you say the deeper meaning behind that. Okay, so there are 7 great fortune that each of us have. Okay, 7 great fortune. Some people call it 7 acts of giving. Some people call it 7 great offerings of life. Okay, so we can say 7 great offering of life. Okay, each of us is endowed with 7 great fortune that we can spend and spend and spend and spend, and they never quite run out. And the more you spend them, the more the golden rule will pay you back. Okay? Our life will get better, and our affinity with other people our life will get better in the form of our affinity with other people. our condition will become more favorable, and we will more simply reap the desirable outcome of life that we want. Okay, and so let's see. Okay, here we go. 7 great offerings of life. Ready? Number 1, give people the gift of your appearance. Appearance. Okay? In its simplest term, the gift of your appearance is your joyful smile. Your joyful smile. Okay, the gift of your appearance is your joyful smile. If you have good clothes, you put on good clothes. That is a gift of appearance. The way you present yourself is a gift of your appearance. But your joyful smile is the simplest and the most authentic way that we can offer somebody a gift that will make their life better. In the instant moment that we smile, from a scientific, physiological, psychological way, when we smile, even if at first we don't feel good, we just do the act of smiling, our brain will start to generate positive, happy chemical, endorphin, dopamine. Those are happy chemical that will actually help us immediately, or at least over time, if you get used to do it, we actually feel better. And then eventually, our smile will be real. But the effect it has on other people, when we smile, they will feel good. Right? Take a look at the most genuine smiler in the world. Who are the most genuine smiler in the world? That instantly you see them and you feel happy or joyful. Is it little babies? Little babies. Yeah. Just think about, little baby, little toddler, little, even, newborn, a few weeks, if they break a big, bright smile, they are giving us their gift of smile, the gift of appearance. And immediately, the golden rule takes effect. When the child smiles, we feel good. What do we want to do? We want to help the child. We want to protect them. We want to, make sure they're safe. Causality take effect immediately. So when we smile, we offer the other people the gift of our smile. We're essentially planting positive seed in other people's heart, and we will earn a good fortune in our fortune account. Okay, last week we talked about human being. We have this spiritual fortune account. There's a positive fortune account, there's a negative fortune account, and there's a balanced fortune account. Right? We've all heard of the statement, I am fortunate to have something. I'm fortunate to be somebody. Okay? Or I'm blessed. Well, to be blessed or to be fortunate equate to having the kind of positive spiritual energy that attract positivity into your life. Okay? And those positive good fortune energy arises as a consequence of us performing good deed for other people. So when we perform a good deed for other people, by the law of causality, by the golden rule, we earn a credit in our good fortune account, and thereby we attract positive and good things into our life. To be blessed, meaning you gain, you can say that to be blessed means God give us, blessings and grace. But if God give us blessings and grace, if God is infinite, right? God is infinite and God's love is infinite, then why is it that some people have more fortune than others? Why is somebody more fortunate and other people less fortunate? Why is somebody more blessed than other people blessed? Does that mean God is unfair or discriminate? No. God is infinitely loving, God is infinitely fair, and God expresses his love and his fairness and his will through the law of causality, the golden rule. He governs our lives with the golden rule. Whereas God's grace is infinite, but the one who gets more is the one who actually know how to use it better. They create more value for the people, therefore they gain more value in return. That's it. So the gift of our smile is one of those great offerings of life that we can give to other people, and we would gain in return a positive credit in our good fortune account. Okay, the gift of our appearance or the gift of our smile, joyful smile. Number two, our second great fortune that all of us have, the gift of our eyes. Okay, the gift of our eyes. How do we give people the gift of our eyes? Here, it speaks to our seeing, the way we see another person. Okay, or another word is our gaze. In the previous module, we talked about, and I read through this picture, all of us is created in an image of God. And that begins with having the will in the center of us. That will manifests as the will to hear, the will to see, the will to talk, and the will to know. Here we have the will to see. But how do we see another person will determine the quality of our life. Do we see another person as problematic? Do we see another person as troublesome? Do we see another person on a, something negative? Okay? Consider this. The moment that we see another person as negative, well, guess what? Our experience of life at that moment is already negative. If we see another person as doing something that is offensive to us, guess what? At that moment in our life, our experience of life is negative. Awareness level 1 is being able to distinguish between good, bad, should or should not, true or false, regarding phenomenon, regarding people, regarding circumstances and events. But if any moment our awareness is telling us, oh, that's bad, at that moment, guess what? That experience of badness is a negative experience. Our life at that moment is negative. So do we want to rescue ourselves? If we want to rescue ourselves, we need to switch that awareness to wisdom level 1. With wisdom level 1, instead of focus on the negative, you focus on the positive. Instead of focus on the darkness, we bring the light into the room. The gift of our eyes, or the gift of our seeing, or the gift of our gaze is the ability to change the way we see another person, not for any negative thing that they have, but for their potential to be great. We see the potentiality of another person. We see the good in them. Never mind the bad. It takes wisdom to do that. That's why we have to go through the whole multiple weeks of awareness and wisdom before we talk about the gift of seeing. Does anybody remember, here is a review test, which formula talk about the gift of seeing another person? Any mentor level student here? Which awareness and wisdom talk about the gift of seeing? Little test for somebody. Ron. I like to pick on Ron. He's such a great guy. What awareness or wisdom level? What level of awareness and wisdom, or which formula or principle we talked about has to do with the gift of seeing? To see another person in a positive light. How about wisdom level 2? the root cause of life begins with me, and that the seed within me is my hearing, my seeing, my talking, and my knowing. So if I can change my seeing, the way I see another person, I invent positive images about other person, then I can see them in a positive light. See the goodness of others. Thank you, Olivia Hami. There's a saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Anybody know that phrase? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Beauty is in the eye of the person looking, not from the other person. Beauty is in the eye of the person seeing, the gift of our seeing. Beauty is in the eye of our beholder, of the beholder. Okay? So if you can look at another person and see the potential for goodness, what do you think is going to happen to our affinity with that person? What would our life be like when we see our children not as, addicted to game or, troublemakers, but if we see our children as potential for, greatness? There's a story of, I think, Thomas Edison. When Thomas Edison was young, he had trouble learning in school. So one day the teacher wrote a letter to his parent and saying that your child is unable to pay attention in class. He is incapable of learning. He should not go to school. Basically, the teacher kicked him out. And his mother kept the letter, and he and then when he comes home, he gives his parent the letter. The mother said, Thomas Edison asked his mom, "What does the letter say?" Mother say, "Your teacher say that you are such a genius that the school does not have the capacity to teach you at your level. Therefore, we need to find better school for you." And as a consequence, Thomas Edison's mother went about finding different ways of educating her son, giving him the potential to be all that he could be. And then, we all know Thomas Edison eventually, formalized a stable light bulb that we use, that makes up, the light bulb for the modern world. And at the end of his mother's life, when she passed away, Thomas Edison was able to rediscover the letter, and he opened it up, and he saw that the letter didn't say that he was a genius, that the school was not capable of teaching him. The letter said that he was such a terrible student, he would never learn anything. However, his mother saw him differently. She saw him for the genius that he could be, not what the letter was saying. And as a consequence, cause and effect, as a consequence of the seed that the mother has planted of him being the child of great potential, Thomas Edison became a person of greatness. Okay, that is the power of the gift of seeing, the gift of your eyes. Okay, all right. The third great fortune that all of us have is a gift of our mouth. Okay, first is eyes, now is our mouth. Easy to remember. Basically, this is the gift of kind words. Okay, when we open our mouth, when we say anything to anybody, pay attention to what the kind of word that we say, the kind of effect that we have on another person. What kind of seed of affinity do we want to plant with the other person? Do we want to sow seed of kindness, of affirmation, of praise, of honoring gratitude, of magnanimity and tolerance, of peace? Or do we sow discord and misunderstanding and suspicion? This is, simple, right? Give of kind words. Okay? We jump to the next one. Okay? Give of our heart. What does this mean, give of our heart? This is the heart of honoring gratitude. Okay? The heart of honoring gratitude. In a few weeks back, we studied the source concept of honoring gratitude. At its most fundamental level, honoring gratitude is an emotional feeling. It is to be touched and moved by someone or something. It is an emotional feeling that we may not deserve something, but we have it anyway. And because we have it anyway, we are touched and moved by it. I may not deserve you to be here in this Zoom. There are 18 people. Oh my goodness. Two and a half years ago, when I first opened a Zoom, there were one person. Oh man, I was so grateful just to have one person in a Zoom. Imagine what it's like to turn on a Zoom and nobody showed up. So I was very honored and always honored to have even just one person in a Zoom. And today, even though I do not deserve it, I am grateful to have 17 people in the Zoom. You honor me with your presence, and I am very, very grateful. The heart of honoring gratitude. What would our life be like if our children were grateful to us? If our employee, if our co-worker honor our contribution in the job? On the other hand, what would our life be like if we were not honoring the opportunity that other people give us? Right? If we are ungrateful to our parent, to our teacher, to our bosses and our co-worker. So honoring gratitude is one of those highly, highly energized vibrational energy frequency that when you can express it will bring a lot of positivity into your life. Okay? With regard to non-personal thing, people, just things, little things, object, this pen. If I honor this pen, then I use it to its maximum potential. Okay? To me, this pen is not just a pen. This pen is an instrument of value creation. With these pens and these words that I'm writing, I can actually change somebody's life. It's not just a pen. So recognizing the usefulness of things and the significance of people are some of the foundational aspect of the energy of honoring gratitude. Gratitude, yeah. It is an energy of wisdom. Okay? An energy of wisdom. It takes wisdom to recognize somebody and something for its usefulness and its importance and be grateful for it. And it is an emotional response. Okay? Even when we experience a undesirable circumstance in life, or somebody is saying something, we're dealing with people here, right? Affinity, okay? So let's say we're at work, and somebody does something or says something that is offensive to us. Okay? We now have awareness and wisdom. We can involuntarily react negatively, which at that moment means our experience of life is already negative. Or we can save ourselves and save the other person by first initiating the formula for overcoming all of life's problems. Just enter that state of serenity and inner peace. Just become aware of the hearing and the seeing, and then be grateful for the lesson that we have learned. Be grateful for the lesson that we have learned, not for the bad thing that other people do to us or the bad people. Just be grateful for the lesson that we have learned. Draw the lessons from the crisis. And with that energy, we would be able to save ourselves and save other person from negativity. And our affinity with other person will, if not go up, then at least it won't go down. Powerful, powerful energy honor, and gratitude. It is a gift of our heart. Okay, the heart of gratitude. Next one. Number 5. An infinitely great fortune that we all have, and we can offer it as many times as we want. It is the gift of our spirit. Okay, some people call it the gift of our space. That's fine too. Okay, because it refers to the gift of our space, which is our tolerance okay, and I like to make it magna means great, animus means spirit. It's Latin word for great spirit, also known as magnanimity. Okay, magnanimity. It is better to explain this with a question. Okay, is your spirit big enough to hold space for the other person? Is your spirit big enough to hold space for everyone and everything? If your spirit is big enough, then you can forgive the other person. If your space is big enough, then you can hold them in your gaze. If your spirit is big enough, then you can tolerate them. And if your spirit is big enough and you can hold space for them, then you can love them. You can even love them unconditionally, and you love them eternally. Okay, so we already went through a whole day talking about the spirit of magnanimity, of forgiveness, of mercy, of lenience, of tolerance. Okay, and in order to do that, you have to be unattached. You have to be unattached with what's going on in our mind as a consequence of what's going on. It's a consequence of external stimuli. Another person may do something, a situation may happen something, but if we are attached to what the person does, then we are not tolerant. Our space is not big enough. We're so tiny. But if our space, our spirit is big enough, we can just let it go. Doesn't matter what they do. They just, okay, they just do it. Because we are fundamentally unattached. That is wisdom level 2. Okay? Wisdom level 2. Is your spirit big enough? Is your space big enough to hold other people and behold them in your gaze? To hold and behold. To hold and behold. Okay, let's write that word down. Is your space big enough? Is your spirit big enough? Hold and behold. I know I used the word behold up there, but they're related. You have to have wisdom level 2 in order to see another person on a positive light. You have to have wisdom and awareness level 2 in order to hold space for them. Keep them in your spirit and not be diminished by them. Okay? Okay. Number 6. This is a simple one. The gift of our body. Okay, the gift of our body. What does it mean? Well, it means helping. Action. Okay, we use our body for action. Hands and legs. Okay, helping actions. Helpful. That's fine. Helpful action. Helping actions. Okay, we can help another person. They need the help. We help. Okay. Can a poor farmer help a rich merchant? Yes, he can. Okay? Yes, you can. Um, we all have something that we can do to help another person. Okay, helping action. The Bible is very good with this, especially with the story of the Good Samaritan. Okay, the idea of a Good Samaritan is you can meet a stranger, they might not even relate it to you, but because of out of the goodness of your own being, you just help them. Why? Because the act of helping or the need of the other person is more important than whatever that our need is. Okay, helping others. And of course, the ultimate gift of our body is your body, your whole life. Okay, as like in the Christian belief, it is Jesus Christ's body. It's the ultimate gift. Okay, to give somebody your whole body, your physical body. And number 7, the gift of your seat. Okay, this word I've chosen is to help us visualize, and the order. You can start with the top. Okay, our face or our smile, and then our eyes, our mouth, our heart, our spirit, our body, our seat. The more physical help us memorize. The gift of our seat talks about our position or status in life. This is a wonderful, wonderful gift that we can give to somebody. Wonderful, wonderful offering. If we have money, let's say $1 billion, and we give $1 billion away, great. But we would be left with no money. It's limited, right? If we give our material possession away, that's it. You've done it once, no more. But if we are a billionaire and we can give the gift of our position or status, we help another person become a billionaire. Oh, then how many people can you help? And imagine how much fortune you can give without losing anything. This is a powerful offering that we can give to anybody. If we're at work and we are in a position of, let's say, management, okay, and we give the gift of our knowledge and understanding about management to other co-worker and people under us, and help all of them become capable managers. And so guess what's going to happen when a higher position opens up? Let's say a directorship. Who are they going to choose? Are they going to choose the only guy who's capable of managing that department? If they take that guy who's only capable, the only person who's capable of managing that department, if they take him away, then nobody's going to fill that seat. But if that guy has already prepared many other people to fill his seat, then he's available to take the directorship. Do you get that? Many people make the mistake of trying to secure their job security. They make the mistake of securing the job by stepping on other people and hiding their skill, hiding their knowledge, hiding their ability, and preventing other people from taking over the position. Fine, they will have the security in that position, but it's going to make it very difficult for them to rise up, because they're entrenched in that position. The upper bosses are not going to move them from into another place. But if the person is wise enough, who has an awareness that is expansive enough, who has a heart and a spirit that is great enough, a body is helpful enough, the eye to see other people, then that person will be able to create the opportunity for other people to fill his or her position, status, thereby opening up opportunity for themselves to receive greater opportunity later down the line. That is the path of mastery and then the path of growth, of maturity and growth. Okay, we cannot mature if we don't move beyond our position right now. The only way to mature, to grow, is to move away from this position. But the best way to move away from this position is to prepare, other people to take over our position. It is a gift of our position, a gift of our status in life. If we have happiness, can we give other people the status or the position or the seat of happiness? Yeah, we can. If we have knowledge of serenity, magnanimity, and honoring gratitude, can we give other people the gift of serenity, magnanimity, and honoring gratitude? We can. And as we give other people gifts of knowledge, of wisdom, of awareness, of serenity, magnanimity, and honoring gratitude, what we're essentially doing is we are creating a positive condition, positive affinity, a network of people who are also rich in character, of people who are also healthy and holistically wealthy, people who are rich in wisdom, people who are rich in mentality and character similar to us. What would our life be like when everybody around us is also happy, is also living at peace, is also healthy and wealthy? We are creating heaven on earth. See, when Jesus said giving away all of your fortune, he means you can actually, create heaven on earth. You don't have to wait until you die before you go to heaven. You can create heaven on earth. The poor farmer can become a rich person by giving away this kind of fortune. Right? Can you imagine a person going around being joyful, right? Saying kind word, who is grateful, who has tolerance for other people, who is always helping other people? Can you imagine that poor farmer, material life getting better pretty fast? Would other people want to help him? Yeah, other people want to help him. Would other people want to give him their gift of position, connect him to him with opportunity for improvement in his own material life? Yeah. The 7 offerings of life turns out to be the stimulation that will basically improve our affinity with other people. Okay? Does anybody get that so far? Do anybody have any question or impression? Let's define character. Okay? Let's define character. So, let's see. Yeah. So as human beings, okay, we have the nature of expression. Okay, we have the nature of expression right here. Okay, the nature of expression. How we express ourselves determine the kind of condition, determine the kind of affinity that we create around us. If we express ourselves positively, especially through the 7 great offerings of life, then we are going to be stimulating those conditions positively, and we are going to reap the fruit of life positively, which equate to desirable life outcome. Okay? And how do we express ourselves so that not only we, elevate our own awareness and wisdom, but we express ourselves in such a way that help other people raise their awareness and elevate their wisdom. Okay? So we began with this journey talking about expanding our inner awareness. Okay? We talked about wisdom, we talked about awareness, we talked about mentality and attitude. And so what we're essentially doing is, trying to come to a better understanding what it means to be human beings. Human beings. Okay? Human beings. Our awareness, our wisdom, our mentality and attitude. Those are all ways of beings. Okay? Those are ways of being. But ways of beings, just by ourselves is not enough. Even though it's a big part of who we are as human beings, 80% of what it means to be a human being is the ways of beings. Our awareness, our wisdom, our mentality and attitude. Ways of being. But at some point, we need to start to do things. So this is when the human doing comes into play. Okay? As people, traditionally get this backward. They spend a lot of time doing things. Always working, always, worrying about things, always trying to get things done. They're focused on doing, and they're not spending enough time being. That's why their lives, they never really get to the fruit of life that they want, because they're going backward. Now that we have spent 9 weeks talking what it means to be human beings, it is time that we take the next 20% and go to work on doing things. Okay? So when we do things, we simply do the 7 great offerings of life. Or we should do the 7 acts of charity. Okay? When we combine ways of being with ways of doing, then it will stimulate our affinity with other people. Okay? It stimulates our affinity with other people. And as we stimulate our affinity with other people, as a person, we take on a certain dimension. People recognize that as our character. Okay, people will recognize us as a character. Let's use. Okay. As we do things for other people. Okay, through the 7 great acts of doing, 7 great acts of charity, which stimulate our affinity with other people. Okay. It stimulate our, now let's use this symbol. It stimulate our affinity with other people, and they start to recognize us as a person of character. Okay. In fact, they will start to notice that we are a person who is refined or rich in character. Okay? And if you are a person who's rich in characters, would other people like to be close to you? Others like to be close to. Right? Would others like to be close to a person who's refined or rich in character? Would other people consider you a person of success? Successful person? Right? Would people want to be close to a person of success or a successful person? Right? Think about it. Would you like to be close to a person who is rich in character, who is refined, who is successful? And the material expression of a person of refined character is basically made up of their richness in awareness and wisdom, as well as their richness in mentality and attitude. Okay? So a person who's refined in character is a person who's successful. Person who's refined in character or rich in character is the kind of person that other people like to be close to. And those person have within them a richness in awareness and wisdom, in mentality and attitude. You guys see the picture? Okay. Let me read to you the definition. I guess I'll write it as well. I'll write the definition of character first. Okay, character. So for those of you who are studying this and trying to be mentors, this is a translation of the official definition of character. Character of a person is the collected state of emotion and state of inner awareness okay, expressed through their mental images and the values they embody regarding themselves and regarding their social relationship. Okay? Alright, so I'll just read it again. Character of a person is the collected states of emotion and states of inner awareness expressed through their mental images and the values they embody regarding themselves and regarding their social relationship. Okay, let's use the F himself. Okay, fix that later. Character of a person is a collected state of emotion and state of inner awareness. Okay, we started by talking about inner awareness, about right and about awareness level 1, right and wrong, good or bad, true or false, like or dislike. We went through human nature. We talk about anger, satisfaction. We talk about desire. We talk about greed. We talk about selfishness versus altruism. We talk about perception. We talk about clarity and delusion. We talk about openness, open-mindedness versus stubbornness. Okay? Those are state of Those human nature, those are part of human nature, but they also represent states of emotion and state of awareness. We talk about temperance. A person who is prone to anger versus a person who's prone to, satisfaction, are going to express themselves differently. Okay, how they become aware of something, whether they are a person who is always suffering, or if they are a person who always live in peace, whether they are a person who is blaming and resentful, or they are a person who is honoring and grateful. Okay, whether a person who is angry or if they are tolerant. Those are state of awareness and state of emotion with respect to themselves and respect to their social relationship. Instead of blaming ourselves, we accept ourselves. We honor ourselves. We are grateful for who we are. Instead of being angry with other people, we are tolerant with them. You see how everything kind of, all the stuff that we've gone through kind of manifests, expressing itself as a person's character. Okay? All the awareness and the wisdom, those are internal stuff. Nobody can see that. Even our mentality, nobody can see our mentality. Nobody know what we think about our meditation. But they can recognize our attitude. And if we maintain a certain pattern of attitude long enough, then people would start to recognize that as our character. Okay? So character of a person is the collected state of emotion and state of inner awareness. If we're angry all the time, people are going to say, oh, this person has a character of anger. That's not good. What do you think that's going to happen to our affinity when we maintain the emotions and the awareness, relating to anger? What do you think it's going to do to our affinity with other people if we maintain the emotion and the state of awareness of right and wrong and blaming other people? Right? It's going to hurt our affinity. On the other hand, what do you think is going to happen if we can maintain the emotion of honoring gratitude, of expressing tolerance and magnanimity, of expressing inner peace at all circumstances? People are going to want to be close to that person, right? The person of peace, the person of tolerance, the person of gratitude. And so, okay. So here's the thing. The phrase with regard to themselves and regarding their social relationship. Okay? There is a cause and a consequence. There is a seed and a fruit with respect to this statement. How we regard ourselves and other people is the cause. Okay? How we treat ourselves and other people is the cause. The outcome of that is the way they see us as our character. Do you get that? How we regard ourselves and other people is the cause, the seed. How other people see us, how they regard us in response to how we treat them, we see them, is the outcome, the fruit. So if we're the kind of person who blame ourselves and blame other people, what do you think, if that's the seed, and what do you think the fruit is going to be? Other people is going to maintain the certain mental images and a certain concept about us that's not going to be very positive. Right? If we're a person who's angry for ourselves, who blaming ourselves, who who's lack confident, that is the seed. What do you think is the fruit going to look like in terms of what other people see us, in terms of their mental images of us, their source concept of us? They will be maintaining the kind of mental images about us that is negative and undesirable. And if we remember in the formula for the root cause of life, clear mental image equals reality. So if we give other people a clear mental image of us being negative, guess what their experience of life, and thereby our reality as well, is going to be like. And so once we learn the definition of character of a person is a collected state of emotion and state of inner awareness expressed through their mental images and the value they embody regarding themselves and regarding their social relationship, we can no longer be irresponsible with our emotion and our inner awareness. Because if we are not aware, if we are not responsible, if we do not take proactive responsibility for our own emotion and the awareness that we express, that is the seed, that is the cause. Other people is going to start to see us as just that. You see? Before we understand this technology, this philosophy, we unwittingly, involuntarily express ourselves whatever way we want. I say whatever we want. I don't care what other people think. Well, yeah, you may not care what other people think, but they are going to think anyway. And if we allow them to think something negatively about us, what do you think is going to happen to our affinity with them? As a parent, what if we are not responsible for how we express ourselves to our children, then what do you think is going to happen to our affinity with our children? As a boss or as an employee, as a spouse, if we are not aware and if we not take complete ownership of our own emotion and the way we express ourselves regarding ourselves and regarding other people, our spouse or boss, then what do you think they are gonna, the way they see us? Yeah, if we're always negative, then they're gonna see us as negative. Our affinity with them is gonna be negative. Not to mention we're dragging them down. Okay? So after learning this lesson, after learning this definition, we have no choice, if we want our life to be better, is to start taking responsibility for the way we emote, the way we express ourselves. Right? The mental images that we have and the value that we embody, we express them with conscious, proactive choice, and it should be positive. And to make it simple, just focus on honor and gratitude, focus on magnanimity and tolerance, and focus on serenity and inner peace. Okay? And if we have that, and if we can do that, okay, then we get to the definition of a person rich in character. Okay? So let's use this pen. Rich in character. Purple is like royalty, rich. So let's do purple. A person rich in character. Okay? I'm just going to shorten it, also known as a person of refined character, or a person of wholesome character, okay, is someone okay, okay, but before that, here we have the word a person of refined character. Can we go around and say, I am a person of refined character? Can we go around and say, I am a person of refined character? Or I am a person of wholesome character? Character is the material expression that other people see, other people sense, other people recognize and acknowledge. It is from another person's perspective. Yes, we have certain awareness about ourselves. Okay, we have certain awareness about ourselves, but we are not allowed to say I am a person of refined character. You understand why in a little bit when I list out the different element of a person of wholesome character. Okay, so a person rich in character, also known as a person of refined character or a person of wholesome character, is someone who is someone who has fully collected the state of emotion and state of inner awareness state of emotion and state of inner awareness that express as, we're going to list it out like this: joy, hope, trust, wisdom, honoring, gratitude, love, magnanimity or tolerance, humility or humbleness, if you will, and authenticity. Through their mental images and the values and the value they embody regarding themselves and regarding their social relationship. Okay, nice complete definition. A person rich in character, also known as a person of refined character, also known as a person of wholesome character, is someone who has fully collected the state of emotion and state of inner awareness that express as joy, hope, trust, wisdom, honoring, gratitude, love, magnanimity, humility, and authenticity through their mental images and the values they embody regarding themselves and regarding their social relationship. In other words, there are many different states of emotion, many different states of awareness. Okay, many of them negative. But through studies of successful people, through studies of wise people, through studies of people whom other people want to be close to. It has been found that people who embodies who express themselves as joy, hope, trust, wisdom, honoring, gratitude, love, magnanimity, humility, and authenticity. In other words, character of joy, who express the character of hope, who express the character of trust, who express the character of wisdom, who express the character of honoring gratitude, who express the character of love, the character of magnanimity, the character of humility, and the character of authenticity. These seem to be the 9 characters that pretty much everybody will agree to represent a person of refined character, or a person of wholesome character, or in our philosophy, a person rich in character. Okay? And so, if we want the kind of person who is a successful person, think about yourself. If we want to be let's say, a successful father or a successful mother, do you want our children to be close to us, right? A successful person is somebody other people want to be close to you. Okay? A successful person is a person who's rich in character, who's refined and wholesome. That means our children would have to see us as somebody who expresses the character of joy, hope, trust, wisdom, honoring, gratitude, love, magnanimity, humility, and authenticity. If we want to be seen by other people as a successful employee, okay, that means this employee is a person of refined character. That means we, as an individual, has to express ourselves as a joyful person, hopeful, trustful, person of wisdom, a grateful person, a loving person, a tolerant person, a humble a person, as a authentic person, an employee. Thank you, chị Ian. Thank you, chị Nga Trà, for joining our Zoom. Okay, we'll see you hopefully again next week. Okay, we're coming into an end of our sharing today. Okay, so yeah, okay, the idea of a person rich in character is not just any one of these characters. Yes, you have seen people who are very joyful, but they may lack tolerance sometimes. You met anybody like that at work? I know there's some people who are very joyful, but when it comes to certain things, they don't have a tolerance. And so you want to be close to them when they're joyful, but not close to them when they're not tolerant. So your affinity with that other person is not complete. You may find somebody is very hopeful. Okay, they're very hopeful about everything, but you can't really quite trust them with their work. Or maybe they don't trust you. So there's something going on with the affinity with that person. You might not really want to be close to them all the time. Okay? Or you find somebody who is very, grateful for everything that you do to help them. Yay, positive energy. They're very grateful. But at the same time, they may not be very authentic. So in order to be a person of refined character or wholesome character or rich in character, the wise have recommended that we try to go to work on refining ourselves. Okay, we are in the process of refining ourselves to become more whole, to become more rich. But we cannot say, I am a refined person. Because if you say, I am a refined person, then you have just violated or just crossed out the humility part. Okay? Because humility is to, has to do, we'll talk about that later, but it's a character of humility is to recognize the greatness and success of other people, to bow down when appropriate. And we don't recognize ourselves as a successful person. We don't recognize ourselves as a refined person. So because if we say that, then we are not refined. We are incomplete. We are not whole. Okay? So so that's what it means to be a person of refined character, of a person of wholesome character, okay, rich in character. It is about collecting all of the appropriate state of awareness and state of emotion, well, where there are countless bubbles of emotion. Let's just focus on the three that we do know. Okay, keep it simple: honor and gratitude, magnanimity and tolerance, serenity and inner peace. Those three energy of wisdom will help us express ourselves as these 9 characters. And next week we'll go into some of them. We already begin with authenticity. The character of authenticity is derived from a person of wisdom level 3. A person who is in a state of serenity and inner peace with respect to their hearing and their seeing, their talking, and their knowing. They limit their mind stuff. They limit the emotion stuff. So whatever comes out of their mouth is authentic. It is as it is. Okay, they don't think too much. They don't analyze too much. They don't charge it with emotion. And so whatever they say, it just comes out naturally, genuinely, and authentically. Okay, that is a person of authenticity. Okay, and in honor of the timing, I'd like to end my sharing today. Would anybody care to chime in, ask any question real quick before we close, or sharing any of your impression or your lesson, any new realization? Those are the important part of the lesson. It is your feedback, your realization, your impression that makes a difference for you, for myself, and for other people in the Zoom as well. No? Nobody? A lot of people in the room and nobody want to say anything? Well, if not, then I would just take the last minute to once again express my gratitude to all of you. Okay, I'm very honored by so many people joining our Zoom today, and I hope that that will bring some value to you, and I hope that we can continue our sharing in the many days to come by the rule of the golden rule and the law of causality. If we want our life to be better, we have to do things for other people. It is no longer a matter of just expanding our own wisdom and expanding our awareness and raising our level of wisdom. Okay, we are not isolated entity. Our lives can only get better if we help other people around us elevate their wisdom, expand their awareness, right? Give them more joy, more hope, more trust, more wisdom, more gratitude, more love, more tolerance. Teach our children humility and authenticity. Then our lives will definitely get better. Okay, it is a law and a principle. I will see you guys next week.
Frank, I just wanted to say one thing. I liked what you said about when you were talking about somebody that said, "Oh, I don't care." But actually, we do care, and we just create an emptiness within us, in our own inner being, and then we're able to accept it, is the way I see it.
Yeah, that's different than apathy, right?
Yes.
When somebody just says something bad to us or do something that is harmful or offensive, we wisely, we already learned about wisdom and awareness, we appropriately choose different levels. We can go immediately straight to level 3, where we just accept it. And when we accept it, we reach a state of balance. We're not charging it positive or negatively. We're not nurturing our garden of subconscious any positive or negative way. That fruit, that moment of receiving that fruit, it ends. Causality ends right there. If we charge it negatively, then we're going to make that fruit, go negative some more. That affinity with other person is going to go down some more. So yes, we can just accept it, okay, welcomely receive it, and thereby maintaining a balanced affinity with another person. And then if we have the wisdom, we can lower it to level 2. Invent
Also
new.
be a balanced merit.
Yeah. To balance merit has to do with helping other people elevate their awareness and wisdom. If we just receive it and we do nothing, they might not get anything. In order to earn the balanced merit, in order to earn the credit in our wisdom, fortune account, we have to do the number 7 gift of giving. Right? It is the gift of our position. If we have the position of knowing, if they have the position of understanding, if they have a status of knowledge, then we have to give it to other people. That is the only way we can earn that balanced merit. If we do nothing, then the person won't get it. They won't. Our affinity will be saved, but we cannot earn any credit in our balanced merit account if we do not actually help the other person elevate their wisdom and expand their awareness. Okay. Yeah. So good sharing. Thank you, Ron, for that. Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Frank, and thank you for your sharing. I appreciate it. And
Okay.
I love to learn more. So
Okay.
I'm in Mentor with 7. So the more I hear everything, I write everything over and over again, the more I learn too. So I really appreciate everybody's support and sharing with you as well. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. Alrighty. I'll see you on Saturday if possible. Otherwise, I'll see everybody else next week. Take care.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye bye.